Hello basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to give you some fantastic baseline cut horns basketball plays. So hello everyone, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training. If you're new to this channel, on this channel I show you basketball plays, drills, and skills. So if you like that stuff, hit that like button and subscribe. But anyways, today I'm going to give you some fantastic horns basketball plays with a player who cuts along the baseline to get open for a three-point shot. So let's get down to the clipboard. Let's check out these basketball plays. Okay, so first we're up against the 2-3 zone defense, red being in the zone defense, and we have blue on offense. So what we are going to start with is, of course, there's most likely going to be a soft double team up top, and then what we'll have is a double screen or a wall screen on player 3, and we're going to have player 5 screening for player 4. Now the idea behind this is now we have two options for player 2. Of course, player 2 could just use a simple screen, get a three-point shot from here, or possibly a roll for an assist with player 5. That is one option. Now, that's not our main option. What I want to see is this is more or less a fake, where now we're going to be drawing the defense possibly away from player 1 and away from player 2, who's going to cut baseline. This could be open for the lob if player 5 moves up too far, but most likely he will not. That's only a 1% chance. And player 2 is going to cut baseline and pop out. He's going to be using this huge wall screen, and player 1 is going to dribble out to that side, and he's going to pass to player 2. Player 2 can hit that shot, or he could then, depending on where player 3 is now playing, if player 3 fought through this way because player 2 popped out this way, then player 2, these two players just have to turn around, set another big wall screen, and player 2 could use those two as a screen. That's going to pull player 5 out, and player 3 can then roll off. Player 5 is now popping towards the baseline, where now, depending on where player 4 is playing, if he is playing under, if player 5 has sealed player 4, he may have an open lane. Player 3 may have an open lane, or player 2 could hit that shot or the floater or whatever he wants to do. So there's a few different options with this play. Now going against a 3-2 zone defense, most likely player 2 and 3 are going to be popping in just a bit to guard those high post players. And what we will be doing now is now very similar to the last play, but what we will be doing is having player 5 go down, setting a screen for player 4, and player 2 is going to be setting a screen for player 2 red. Player 1 is going to pop out, dribble out, one or two dribbles to the right side. Player 4 is going to pop out. Player 3 is going to be then cutting baseline. He could be open down the middle depending on what player 5 is doing. If he was looking this way and he was up a bit higher and player 3 was cutting, he may have been open right along the baseline for an easy layup. But if that's not the case, he's going to be popping out to this wing where player 1 is going to hit him up for that three-point shot. Now what I want to see is player 4 collapsing this way, player 2 going down middle, and player 5 trying to get the rebound, because I always like to have 3 players on the offensive boards. That's a personal choice of my own as a coach, and even as a player, I like to try and get my players to offensive rebound as much as possible, because those are very, very easy baskets. Now, for some reason, the 1-3-1 zone defense is becoming more and more popular. I keep on having a lot of coaches comment on my videos saying, hey, the 1-3-1 zone defense is really popular in my area. Can you please set me up with some possible plays? So that's what I'm going to do right now. What we're going to do is basically the same idea as the last play. These are all pretty similar to each other. And we're going to have player 4 pop down and set a screen on player 5. Player 2 is going to set a screen on player 3. We're going to have player 1 dribble out towards this side, which is now a possible double team because that's the middle of that zone, or those two zones. And then we're going to have player 3 cutting baseline and popping out. Player 2 then, if this happens to be a double team, player 2 is then going to be cutting towards the rim. And the reason behind this is he's going to then clear out to the opposite side. Now, there is a reason for this, and the reason is we're going to have player 4 here screening and then sealing. So he's going to take a pivot around and seal his man so that player 3 may be open to take that shot. He may be also open to pass to player 4. Now, the zone defense, player 4 is going to be collapsing. Player 2 is going to be playing a bit lower. However, what we're going to have here is two players who are open or slightly open with one defender guarding both of them. So this is a very easy thing to do. If player 4 can't score here, player 3 couldn't score, then what we're going to have is possibly player 4 passing out to player 5 or player 2. That's going to collapse that defensive player this way. And if player 5 cannot come out to defend player 2, what's going to happen now is we can make that one extra pass, and you see this a lot with the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs. You see this a lot with the Raptors these days as well, especially with the Raptors having a passing big man. You make the extra pass, you have an open player, and you can get that 3-point shot. However, going back to the first option, player 3 had that 3-point option, player 4 has a low post option, or he could grab some assists. Now going up against the man-to-man defense, I personally love this play. So what we're going to do is have player 5 pop out. Player 5 is going to receive that pass. We're then going to have player 4 set a back screen on player 1, and we're going to have player 1 cut towards the middle of the rim. Now, this is our first option, and he could be open for that layup. If he is not, and his player fought through that screen, what we're going to have now is player 1 going down, player 4 popping out, player 1 setting a screen on player 3, and player 2 going down towards the low block to set up a secondary screen or a staggered screen for player 3. Player 3 is going to hopefully have his defensive player caught up on one of those two screens, and he will receive that pass for the 3-point shot. So of course there's a few extra options here instead of just the main option of the baseline cut. But this is a fantastic play to run if you really want to destroy the opponent's defense. So here's one more play that you can run against the man-to-man defense. We're going to have player 4 and 5 set a sandwich screen. I call it personally a sandwich screen. It's a screen on each side of their player, or player 1's player, so that now player 1 has the decision to go left or right. If player 5, If player 1 himself, player 1, if he was to go to his right this way, that's going to have a hedging player, or his defensive player might have fought through it. Doesn't really matter. We'll leave the defense like that. We're then going to have player 5 rolling towards the basket. He could be open for a layup. If he's not, he's going to then continue out, and he's going to go to the opposite side. And again, very similar to the last play, we're going to have player 5 and player 3 screening in the low post for player 2, and player 2 will be open for that 3-point shot. Now again, player 4 can crash. We have 3 offensive rebounding players. Now I hope that these basketball plays help your team win more games and score more points. If they do, let us know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow for another daily basketball video.